Hello, everybody. Um, we're going to start another series today. I'm going to be interviewing a special guest, Moshe Isenberg. He's not only a person with immense experience as an attorney, but he's currently undergoing a Jewish divorce, and I'm sure he has a lot of insights that he could advise us men in how to navigate a Jewish divorce. And with that introduction, Moshe Isenberg.
Yes, hello everybody. Um, so my name you know already, Moshe Isenberg. Just a tiny bit of background. I grew up completely non-religious, child of Holocaust survivors. I spoke a fluent Yiddish. I still speak a fluent Yiddish, but I had never. There was no Shabbos, no tefillin, no kashrus, no nothing. I'm not going to tell you on the wild side what I did, but it was a normal red-blooded American, actually Canadian. At the age of 30, I was approached by a young bacher to put on tefillin. I didn't even know what tefillin was. And I put them on. And then, lo and behold, I put aside, at the time I was doing my fourth law degree. I was at Yale Law School, doing a PhD at Yale Law School to become a professor. I put that aside to go and learn a little bit in a Balchuva Kolo. 8 children, and the 8th is a special needs child. She left years ago from the stress of a special needs child. And here I am, basically, fighting the fight, about custody, about divorce, about Bais Din, the type of thing that many of you are probably going through. So I have legal training, not specifically in family law, but I have legal training. I have personal, now I'm a religious man, hopefully. And I have firsthand experience in my own case, fighting a battle that's been going on in court, in 2 courts in 2 states, in every conceivable front. Sometimes in a war like World War II, they had different fronts. The East Front, the North Front. I have different fronts, and maybe many of you have the same. But I've been fairly successful. Obviously, I represent myself. I don't have to pay for a lawyer. I feel I could do a better job. So I have that experience. That's my background, and that's my experience. And Mayor will ask me questions, and I'll answer to the best of my ability, trying to help everybody to the best of my ability.
So, Moshe, thank you for that introduction. In my channel, I very much tell people all the time, and I'm going to repeat it here again. I am all for the giving of a get. We know that when a man and woman cannot live together, that's how we get divorced. I'm all for that. But I also emphasize to my viewers that unfortunately today, a lot of the women are not following in the paths of the Torah. They're using the civil courts to strip away a man's rights. And then after they do all of that, they proceed to a Bais Din just for the get. And my experience has been that a lot of Bais Dins today are not following the Torah as well. And they allow the woman to violate the Torah and take everything away from the man, and then do all kinds of sanctions against a man who's fighting for his halachic rights. They don't let him fight for his halachic rights. They demand that he give a get, and it's usually forcibly. So I want you to share with us your experience as a man undergoing divorce, as an experienced attorney, as a scholar. If I'm not mistaken, you said you have many law degrees, and you're a professor. What you see are the pitfalls today in the Bais Din system and in the civil courts, and what should men avoid?
Well, I agree with you that a man should not just sign an arbitration agreement the minute he gets a hazmana from a court. The way it works, people don't realize this. So the woman leaves the marital home. She kicks him out, or she gets a fake order of protection. She kicks him out. She changes the locks, this and that. And then before you know it, he gets a hazmana from a court. Now, the courts, it seems, are divided between right wing and left wing. And the left wing are pro-women, you could say, and the right wing are not exactly pro-men, but they're pro-traditional halacha, which has its rules going back thousands of years. I think when a man gets a hazmana from a court, she usually will pick, obviously, if she's got anybody advising her, and they're all advising each other, the women, on Facebook and so on these women's chat groups. And we get to hazmana, basically, Mayor, your position is he shouldn't sign. I agree with that. He shouldn't sign. But if he just doesn't sign and just says, Hasmona number 1, 2, 3, I'm not signing, I'm not going, no way. They'll issue him a siruf, a kind of quote unquote excommunication. And then she'll take that siruf that they sign and she'll take it to Facebook and Instagram. I myself have undergone that. I have hundreds of thousands of views on a video showing a siruf on me. It was a fake siruf in my case. Sometimes it's a genuine siruf, sometimes it's fake, whatever. Nobody wants that, because all of a sudden your own siblings don't know what to do. Your children know what to do if they're old enough. Your shul, your friends, your relatives, they got a siruf against you. They love you. You're a good husband. You're a good father. You're a good neighbor. You're a good friend. And all of a sudden, a pro-feminist Bais Din is this: don't talk to him. Don't do business with him. Don't invite him. Don't feed him. Don't give him food, drink, this, that. People don't know what to do. And of course, these left wing, but they didn't have an impressive letterhead, especially one in Manhattan. I'm not going to name names, but there's a famous one in Manhattan that many women go to, and people don't know what to do. So my advice, along the lines, Mayor, of what you say, but I'll tweak it a little bit. When they send you Asmonim, for sure you don't sign a arbitration agreement, what they call a star bureau.
Moshe, but first explain to our viewers, what is the danger when you sign an arbitration agreement? What's wrong with that? Explain to them, your experience.
Then they got you where they want you. Put it this way. I'll try to be nice and clean. They got you where they want you. You're done. The minute you sign that, you're done. They can do whatever they want, especially if she chose a left-wing, feminist, modern, almost secular left-wing Bais Din. Then that's it. You have no chance of winning. They won't even listen to you. They rubber stamp what the woman wants. You're done, and then you're done. In my opinion, what you should do, as is the right of a defendant. So she's the plaintiff, and she's summoning you to a Bais Din. What you should do is say, "Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. I got your hazmana. Thank you very much. I exercise my right to refuse your Bais Din, but as a defendant, you have to offer another one. You can't just say, no, I'm not coming, and it's done. No. In Bais Din, like in any arbitration, you have to offer an alternative. In my own particular case, I offered 3, and she chose 1. Okay, and we went to that one, but that's another story. My own personal story is different, is another matter. You offer another one. So just like she went to a pro-women's left-wing Bais Din, you say, thank you, gentlemen, no thank you. I offer you a right wing, and the right in the sense of to the right, conservative, and also to the right in the sense of not wrong. They're right in 2 ways. A right wing, and there are not many of them, unfortunately, but one is enough. And if you ask around, you ask Rabbi Kin, if you ask around, you will find a true, Torah true, halachically true, neutral, or at least not pro-women Bais Din. You offer one of those, in exchange. Now, chances are she's not going to accept yours. Like you don't accept the pro-women's Bais Din, she won't accept your non-pro-women's Bais Din. So she'll reject. Yeah.
So I'm sorry to report you. Zoom is telling us we only have about 9 minutes left, so we have to kind of go through this quicker.
Really? What happened?
They want you to pay a lot of fees in order to get unlimited, but I don't do that many Zoom meetings. In any case, my experience has been that some are more feminist than others, but in my opinion, they are all interconnected. It's one mafia organization, interconnected, and unless you sign an arbitration agreement written by Rabbi Gestetner, which affords you your halachic rights, which they usually will not let you, you're not protected almost in any Bais Din. This is why I take a very radical approach in telling people to not go to Bais Din. Let me emphasize to my viewers my view. When you go to a Bais Din and they rule against the Torah, meaning they force you to give a get when you're not obligated, they don't penalize the woman for going to the courts, you are now committing a sin called lifnei iver lo titen mechshol, because what's happening is you're allowing these rabbis that sit in that Bais Din to rule against the Torah. If you would not show up, they couldn't rule. So this is why I'm all for going to Bais Din in principle, but it works more in choshen mishpat matters. In money matters, yes, the business tend to be less corrupt because there's no feminism involved in that. But when it comes to marriage and divorce issues, they almost universally have gotten corrupted. And my goal is I don't make a penny out of all this. My goal is to take my 20 years of experience, offer it to the men, and say, listen, take my advice or lose it. If you don't want to listen to my advice, it's up to you what the ramifications are. We're talking about the most important thing in your life, your children, your assets, your future. So getting back to what you're saying, you're right. If you respond to a Bais Din and say, I'm sorry, I am not going to your Bais Din, I want to work it out with mediation, they're going to put a serif on you anyway. And I got news for you. In my case, let me tell you about my case. I also offered my wife 4 Bais Dins, but all 4 of them were rejected by the corrupt Bais Din. So, and what is their answers? We don't like him. We don't like him. We don't think he's reliable. They're giving us their opinion because they know that the Bais Dins that I offered follow the Torah explicitly. So, in my opinion, you have a choice. You either have to live your life in knowing that you did the right thing by Torah standards and forget about worrying about the humiliation they're going to put you through. Or if you're worried about you being humiliated because of the serif, I would tell everybody, just give a get right away. Give up the fight early on, sell yourself the legal bills and get it over with. So really, that's what my experience has been. But Moshe, what I want you to tell our listeners is lately there's been several appellate court decisions relating to a Bais Din arbitration decision. Share that with our listeners to see what they can do.
Okay, in 60 seconds or less.
All right.
I have more experience with New Jersey. I'm living in New York, but I have experience with New Jersey courts. The modus operandi that my ex-wife chose, basically she chose a feminist lawyer that has a certain protocol. She gets the people to go to Bais Din, then she takes the decision from Bais Din, which is usually pro-women, and she takes it to court to try to affirm it as an arbitration. I fought that and I won, and now they're appealing. And I won because in New Jersey and perhaps many other states, the secular court will not affirm a Bais Din about gittin. They will affirm a Bais Din about money. They will never affirm a Bais Din about children, like custody, child support. So in other words, the relationship between a New Jersey Bais Din, at least, maybe other states too, and between the court and the Bais Din depends on the subject matter. If it's a money case between 2 businessmen, let's say, then they'll defer to the Bais Din. If it's about children, the Bais Din decision means nothing. They'll redo the whole thing. They have the last word on the children. If it's about a get, in my experience, and I won, they will not touch it. And my ex-wife's lawyer had a whole modus operandi where she got the courts, ignorant judges, even in the same state. You know, she was aghast when she lost in our trial. She said, "Oh, this worked just last week in another county in this state. You know, this works for me all the time." Well, in my case, she ran into a tougher opponent and she lost. They're appealing now the fact that they lost. It's unconstitutional for a secular court to say, you know, you must go to Bais Din. It's unconstitutional, and there are cases. It's unconstitutional for them to affirm a Bais Din psak that says you must give a get. It's just unconstitutional. They are not permitted to touch anything about religion. Now, I didn't finish the other point. When she offers a Bais Din, you reject it. When you offer another one, even if they reject yours, you said in your case that her Bais Din rejected 4 of your offers. The proper way in that case is to go to Zabla. When you've each rejected the other's Bais Din, the proper way is to go to Zabla, where you each nominate a judge, so to speak, that's on your side, and the 2 of them are supposed to find the third, so that there's a panel of 3, and the one in the middle, obviously, the whole case turns on him. Generally, if you choose one good for your side and she does the same, they'll never agree on the third. So that's one way of not getting a serif. You didn't reject the Bais Din that she chose, the pro-feminist Bais Din, outright, and that'll subject you to a serif. If you can avoid that, so much the better. So you reject her choice, she rejects your choice, and then it could take. But Moshe, it could take years.
Yeah, we only have about 3 minutes left, but I have found, and I'm sure you found also, that there are Bais Dinim across the world. Even if you follow Jewish judicial procedure, like you just said, go to a Zabla, but they don't get the get because of, like you said, her choice and your choice could not pick a third. They'll find interesting ways to still put a serve on you. Again, we're not dealing today with Bais Dins that are following judicial. Everything you're saying is true. The problem I'm finding is they're not following judicial procedures, and therefore you can't stop the attacks coming from corrupted rabbis and dayanim. Let's face it. Let's face it. You won't be able to stop that. Every man is considered a get refuser. That term is used very loosely to apply to everybody. I'm a get refuser. Listen to this. I'm a get refuser, yet I've already deposited a get in 2008 that my ex-wife doesn't want to pick up. But they render me a get refuser because it sounds good. And they render her an agunam, which is a moredis. So, the goal here is for people to be made aware that signing an arbitration agreement in a Bais Din can land you in big trouble ahead. As I tell people, a judge takes an arbitration decision more serious than his own decisions, because an arbitration decision means you've agreed to let the arbitration panel make a decision. And once you agree, you have to you have to listen to what their decision is. And that's why I'm warning people not to sign an arbitration decision. In any case, Moshe, I want to tell my viewers that I would like for you could send us, if you could send me the appellate court decisions that men could use to forward to their lawyers that hopefully will help make better arguments in their case whenever they slipped up and they went to Bais Din, how to protect themselves so they're not forced to giving a get. Because of course, once you give a forced get, you're not doing her a big favor. You're giving her situation that she'll be sinning. We're just about out of time. So thank you so much for joining us.
Okay. Let's do this again, but with more time.
Yeah, you're right.
More time. Okay, more time.
All right. Thank you again for joining us. And everyone, please look at the box below where I'm going to be linking these cases that are very pivotal to men to help prevent issuing a forced get. Thank you for watching.
Okay, be well. Good luck, everybody.